to, with your permission, if I could submit a document containing the survey of an NGO called Youth Volunteer for Environment, which contains the real situation that is prevailing in the plantation. If you will grant me the permission, I have the document here. The situation there is very volatile, more than the way the minister is presenting it. Thank you.
Honorable Member, yes, you are entitled to present a copy of that petition to the House, but it's proper you also make a copy available to the Minister for Defense so that the Minister could go deeper into it. If there's a need for him to report back to the House, he will do so. And then based on that, if we need to set in motion our committee on defense and interior to follow up, we will do so. So you are permitted to lay that paper, but make a copy available to the Minister for Defense. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the document is ready for submission.
Yes, table office, kindly take possession of the documents so late. In the meantime, we are not referring it to the committee yet. We will be expecting more work to be done by the Minister, and if there's a need, the Minister will report to us on this matter. Kindly do it together. Honorable Member, please get in touch with the Ministry. These are national security issues and it touches the whole nation, not just your constituency. Yes, Honorable Minister, I, on behalf of the House, thank you for coming, attending upon the House, and responding to the questions. You are most welcome, and thank you once again. We move to item Item 6, that is on statement. And yesterday, you all recall, I deferred one statement which stood and is still standing the name of the Honorable Wayomi, and therefore I will let him start the ball rolling today. Honorable Member, you may now make your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we join a score of Ghanaians to express our utmost disappointment at the abysmal performance of Ghana Black Stars, leading to their unprecedented early exit from the ongoing African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. Ghana Black Stars, one of the top teams on the continent of Africa, did not live up to the expectations of many across the continent, the rest of the world, and in particular, Ghanaians at the ongoing African Continental Football Games in Cameroon. Mr. Speaker, a flashback of the performances of the Black Stars show that the first time they exited the AFCON tournament in the first stage was in 1980 in Nigeria with 3 points as defending champions. Then in 1984 in Cote d'Ivoire, they exited also with 3 points. And in Egypt, in 2006, an early exit with 3 points. But this is the first time in the history of Ghana the Black Stars exited the first and basic stage of the tournament with just 1 point. They could only manage a draw in one match and suffer a humiliating defeat from the debutant Comoros in the second match that resulted in their painful exit. Mr. Speaker, this disappointing development can be attributed to poor management of the team, right from coach selection, player selection, and poor coordination of pre-tournament preparations. Therefore, the poor performance on the field of play, such as player coordination, infighting, technical deficiencies, and confusion can only be attributed to poor management decisions by the leadership of the FA and government. Mr. Speaker, I want to believe useful lessons have been learned on the part of the FA from the outcome and therefore must not repeat itself. Ghana has made significant strides and also suffered its low moments in international football tournaments in the past, but none can be compared to the humiliating performance of the Black Stars as witnessed at the AFCON 2021. Mr. Speaker, another look at the history of Ghana's performance shows that Ghana has won AFCON on 4 occasions, thus 1963, 1965, 1978, and 1982. Ghana has equally been 5 times runners-up. In 1968, 1970, 1992, 2010, and 2015. Therefore, we would have learned some important lessons in order to make a mark, at least, if not win the tournament. Mr. Speaker, it is not only in football that Ghana is not doing well. In recent times, Ghana's performance and fortunes in various sport competitions keep dwindling, as seen in the crash out of our clubs at early stage of Confederation of African Football (CAF) competitions, and that of the women national team at group stages, and the inability of the under-17 team to qualify for major tournaments. Again, Mr. Speaker, the Olympic team, men and women, has not qualified for almost 18 years. The mass movement of players from the local league, due to poor remuneration and conditions of service, may contribute to this. Lack of proper sports development structures and inadequate investments in the domestic football, such as in juvenile, also known as codes, within the communities, school sports, the Milo and Valco championships among various second cycle schools nationwide. Even though football in Ghana has been the most funded among other sports. Mr. Speaker, all these shortfalls militating against victory in tournaments raises many eyebrows in wonder why the team has to come in Qatar when we did not have the full complement of the team. Why did we have to allegedly appoint a second assistant coach few days to commencement of the tournament? What were the criteria in selecting players for the national team. Mr. Speaker, we also want to know the total amount spent on the team till their painful exit. Mr. Speaker, for us to see some positive turn around in Ghana football, and given the central role of sports in national development and fostering unity, there is the need for the government, as a matter of urgency, initiate a process for a holistic sports development agenda that adopts short to long-term approach to sports development to restore sports and Ghana football in particular from the grassroots to the top, that's club level, Black Stars and the Black Pink. There is also the need for the formulation of a national policy document for Ghana football detailing short, medium and long-term plans and the depoliticization of our football and sports in general. There is a need to rethink the quality of the investments being made in sports today. For instance, the use of our rather scarce resources to build sub-standard community pitches that do not meet international standards and cannot be used for league matches ought to be a source of worry. Mr. Speaker, some resources should also go into training home professionals as players and management team with recognized certification in good standing to be used locally and for export for short to long-term results. Here, the need for our sports college with campuses spread through the country comes into sharp focus. I call on the government and the private investors to invest in the football industry to make our leagues competitive. These will help to reclothe Ghana with the pride of having formidable teams capable of raising high the flag of Ghana, of Mother Ghana, in any tournament going forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I listened to my brother Woyome, and the chamber was very quiet because the heart of Ghanaians are broken. Our national team is in disarray, total disarray. The minority leader is not here. Honorable Bafuwa is not here. They are very serious sports administrators. They both own football clubs. As a matter of fact, the minority leader's player was in the national team, the youngest player, very, very talented Ishaoku. Most of us don't even know. Mr. Speaker, my colleague Woyome mentioned 4 factors that has affected the growth of Ghana football, and especially with this tournament. 1, poor management. 2, poor coach selection. 3, poor player selection. And 4, poor coordination of pre-tournament activities. Mr. Speaker, in 2006, there was a planned program by government and the football authorities, and we went to Germany. We did not too bad. We did well. We were eliminated in the round of 32 or 16 in Germany. That team was prepared very well. In 2010, we did so well in South Africa, and we got to the quarterfinals. But along the line, the entire program was put into disarray, and it has ended us with having 1 point in Cameroon, with no mean a team, not to demean them, but a team that came a country that came to this country to ask for technical assistance, the country of Comoros, to develop their football, to eliminate us, to beat us, and also to get us out of the tournament. It's very sad, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, to develop football, you need to have a very strong program. Where is the under-12 system? Where is the under-15 system? Where is the under-17 system? The under-20, the 23, and to the national team. Now, you must have a godfather to be invited into the national team, no matter how talented you are. That is why we need an inquiry into the selection process to our national team. Mr. Speaker, why was Kudus absent from the national team? He chose to join Ajax in Portugal to prepare for the upcoming Champions League. Why was Jeffrey Schlupp absent? Why was Tarek Lamptey absent? Why is he refusing to play for our national team? Why is Ilyasu absent, the Southampton centre-back? Why is he absent, Mr. Speaker? Why is Kevin Oche absent from our national team? Mr. Speaker, there is a problem with player selection, and that ought to be investigated by the managers of our football. Mr. Speaker, they are taking cover from the fact that now FIFA has a rule, the minority leader is here, you correct me, that government cannot interfere in football administration. And our sports administrators are taking cover from that provision. To even select or fire a coach, FIFA will come and interfere. But yet when they are going out, they will ask government for sponsorship and all the bonuses that they require. Mr. Speaker, there is also an issue of player discipline. You can't build a national team where certain players feel they are superior, they can break camp rules, and you expect to get better results. You won't get it. All over the world, you must respect the coach and camp rules. People go to camp and do anything anyhow and expect the country to win. You cannot. Football has changed. If you watch the Nations Cup, Cameroon was suffering against Comoros, Senegal against Cape Verde last night. But for God, and the 2 red cards, Morocco. Mr. Speaker, football has changed. It's become very technical, and you have to be disciplined. The old guards are suffering. Mr. Speaker, so if Ghana wants to be seen as a football country, now we are not, because we go to tournaments and earn 1 point with all the support from government. 1 point, abysmal. We must take a second look at our national team and find out why some of these players are refusing to join our national team. If need be, dissolve our national team, prepare a team for over the next 5 years, then we don't waste our time playing Nigeria in the next World Cup qualifier. Because, hey, look at the team Nigeria has, even though they are out of the tournament. But I don't think with this current setup, we can stand the Nigerians. Mr. Speaker, so I add my voice to the statement ably made by Honorable Bejra Wayome, that a critical look ought to be looked at sports development in total if we want to be seen as a serious country in the area of sports. I thank you very much for this.
Yes, Honorable B.T. Baba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I also want to congratulate the ranking member for his well-researched and thought-provoking statement, which has gladdened our hearts this morning. And also to thank Honorable Patrick Buama for his contribution. So, because of the 2 colleagues, I will limit mine to the happenings in the Ghana Football Association. Mr. Speaker, after the normalization committee handed over to the current administrators of football, we have witnessed rampant changes at the FA, from coaches to technical directors and even the staff. We ask ourselves, what has the benefits been derived from these changes? Mr. Speaker, 3 months to AFCON, the coach who was handling the Black Stars, Mr. C.K. Akuno, was removed. Alongside him, the technical director of the Ghana Football Association, Mr. Oti Akenten, who himself, a very renowned football coach, was also removed. In place of C.K. Akuno, they brought a Messiah by name Milovan to come and handle the Black Stars. Mr. Speaker, the FA itself should be reshuffled. They deserve to be removed, not by government, because of the long hand of FIFA or the international sports federations, but by their own constituents. Those who constitute the General Assembly of the FA must rise up to this challenge. They had the opportunity of telling the whole country that they did not like Kwesi Appiah, who was then the coach. They brought in C.K. Akuno, that he had performed badly. They brought in Milovan, and they have asked him to also go. And yet those who were doing the search and appointing the people, the Black Star Management Committee, continue to be in office. The FA has every right to remove that group, pending their own Congress, to account for their stewardship to the people of this country. $25 million was made available for their preparation in both the World Cup Series and AFCON. Then we sat down, as they claim to be the football people, and took the team to Qatar for camping. An ill-prepared team, they arrived in trickles, not as a team. They went with the body and left the soul in Ghana. Once Nigeria were camping in Nigeria and moved their people along the team, Cameroon as well, Ghana, our Black Stars were in Qatar. How can this be possible? In the good old days, they trained in Ghana, they carried the people along with them and received massive support anytime they were playing either at home or abroad. So, Mr. Speaker, the call for a probe is well directed. And I believe that the FA have conscience. They should immediately dissolve the Black Star Management Committee to prove that they are up to business. Mr. Speaker, regarding development, at times it looks like we are too quick to mobilize money to participate in international sports events. To me, that is promotional. We are not thinking about the development aspect of it, which means you must have a structure of, let's say, courts or juvenile football transiting into the third division level, to second, to first, to premiership, and to schools and colleges, as well as to CESA Games and National Sports Festival. Currently, school sports for the past 3 years has not been organized in the country. COVID has come in, and then not even they were relaxed in the restrictions, we failed to give them money, at least to organize the non-contact sports events. So school sports as it is now, the batch of youth who would have been ready to move into the various structures are non-existent. Guza Games for the universities, now the emphasis has moved from the junior and senior highs to the universities. That is where the cream of talent for sports development have now been shifted. How do we support Guza Games? Sasa Games is no more. The place where you can get all your national teams gainfully employed and given ample time to train and to participate in sports activities is also not being considered. So I would like to urge the Minister for Youth and Sports to think about the developmental aspect of it. The provision of first-class pitches or sports facilities. I know an attempt is being made by the National Youth Authority, but whether they are doing it to meet the international standards is also another thing. So with all these things happening in our country, and football being the soul of this country, Black Stars win and the whole country cycling is up. Morale is very high and there's peace in this country. We lose, and for days, weeks and months we'll continue to comment on the poor performance of the Black Stars, and people who are genuinely interested in coming to develop sports will be discouraged. I want to appeal to the government that they have a responsibility in the Constitution to ensure that sports is developed at all levels of this country. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, kindly permit me to perform one function, and then I'll hand over to my deputy to continue. This is an important statement, so he'll give you opportunity to make your comments. So just a few minutes. You know, from the very beginning, I did indicate that we're hosting a workshop of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Africa Region on Trade, Security, and other issues. We will have to take this time to acknowledge the presence of some of our colleagues who are participating in the workshop from various sister countries, and they are here at the public gallery listening and observing what is happening in the chamber. These are members of parliament from the United Kingdom, Nigeria, Seychelles, Cameroon, Mozambique, Malawi, Zambia, Kenya, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia. They are accompanied by some staff of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, United Kingdom branch. Honorable members, I want to take this opportunity on your behalf and on behalf of the Parliament of Ghana to once again welcome them all to our dear country. I did in my opening address to the workshop thank them for the decision they took to give Ghana the opportunity to host this very important workshop. Once again, I thank them for that opportunity, and I want to urge them once more to take some time up and visit some interesting places in our country. And I'm sure honorable members will facilitate these visits. As you make your comments on this statement, I'm sure a lot of them will be enjoying some of the things you are saying. I would have liked to be heard on this matter because I am a sports enthusiast and I've followed sports since my childhood, and particularly football. But unfortunately, I have to go to attend to other business. So, honorable members, you have the opportunity to continue with this statement. And there is one other statement standing in the name of Honorable Adams Abdul Salam, which my deputy will take. And then he will now be guided by leadership as to what to do. I have to go and present the closing remarks to the workshop. And so, with your kind permission, I call on the first deputy speaker to take the chair. Yes, we may now continue with your comments. Yes, Honorable Lady, is that the Deputy Minister?
Minister of State, Works and Housing, Honorable Speaker.
My apologies. I don't have any authority to reduce your rank. Forgive me for that. Minister of State, Honorable Freda Prempeh, am I right?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
That is good. You changed your listen today, so very difficult.
Honorable Speaker, you've also changed. I was expecting a compliment.
Yes, honorable member, you may continue.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to also add my voice. I would also like to take it up from where my Honorable B.T. Baba left off. He was advocating that the FA should be dissolved. Ghanaians are very hurt. Ghana is a football nation. We have passion for football. All of us love football. When we qualified for the World Cup in 2006, I had the opportunity to be in Germany to support the team. And we have followed the team up from that time till now. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to me that we really want to win any cup for this country. Everybody is talking about the coach. We've left the technical team behind. We've left the players behind. Unfortunately, he is also bringing the FA up. Something went wrong somewhere that has to be addressed. It has to be identified and addressed. Who appointed the coach? Who sacked C.K. Afuno? Why did they push Kwesi Appiah aside? This is somebody, a coach who cannot even communicate in English. He has to use an interpreter. What if he says A and the interpreter says B to the players? What happens on the pitch? You could see the technical bench arguing with the coach. Nobody knew what was going on. And Ghanaians were sitting on thorns, hoping we could redeem our image. But look at what happened. And people think that Comoros is no team to write home about. No. Once the team has qualified for the AFCON championship, he has prepared to come. Look at the way they played Cameroon. Mr. Speaker, it looks to me that we have to put in more effort in building our team. Yes, the ranking member spoke about poor management, poor preparation, poor selection of players. I would like to add poor commitment by the players. You didn't really see that zeal in our players. Yes, we have very skillful players, but they play with different styles in different teams in different countries. And when it's time for us to play a tournament or play a championship, we call them. And as we can say in Chi, like Fefre Kobo, we call them individual players. Then we count them 1 week or 2 weeks, then we go in for the championship. How long can this country continue to spend money on the players on our teams, and how long will they continue to disappoint Ghanaians? The Ministry of Youth and Sports, the government put in all necessary effort, whatever they needed, to prepare them for this tournament. And what went wrong? The day we lost to Comoros, that night, one player flew Partey to go and join his team. So it means, and it tells you a story, that even when he was playing on the pitch, he was just, making sure that he will not hurt himself so that he go and play as if he knew we were going to lose anyway. So we need that commitment in our players. We spoke about management. The government is making all the necessary effort to equip all our regions with pitches. Now we are putting up astroturfs across the country. Yes, the National Youth Authority is doing well. The inter-schools sports is also, I think because of the COVID, somewhere along the line, they had to hold onto it. But with the SESA Games, Mr. B.T. Bapa, I think recently they held SESA Games, but for COVID, we had to hold on as well. So it's good that we revive all these sporting activities. But we have to start preparing from the base. The codes, how are we preparing our codes? How are we preparing our starlets? How are we preparing the meteors? How are we preparing the blasters? How are we preparing the female teams, the princesses, the black queens? Yes, we've not lost it all. In some other disciplines, we are doing well, we are doing much better. But football is becoming a problem. We are investing in football, but the outcome hasn't been good so far. I think that if the FA can do us any good, they shouldn't wait for us to ask them to step down or resign. What happened to the Nigerian coach, the assistant coach? When they lost, he stepped down. But in Ghana, we find it difficult to take certain decisions. And I've been told and heard that the coach is telling us that his core mandate was to prepare, if it's true, that he said that his core mandate was to prepare the Blasters for the World Cup. Is he going to send a new set of players to the World Cup? Or is he going to use a new set of players to prepare for the World Cup? Or is he going to use the same set of players or call more to prepare for the World Cup? It starts with something. And the coach must be held responsible. The technical team must be held responsible. The FA must be held responsible. And all other stakeholders who sat back and looked on for the Blasters to perform abysmally at the ongoing AFCON competition in Cameroon. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, we've not done well when it comes to AFCON, apart from the 1963, 65, 78, and 1982. We've been 5 times runners-up in 1968, 1970, 1992, and 2010. But Ghana as a country, we are yearning to touch the trophy again. We are yearning to win the cup. And it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of work for the players to give us that trophy that we are all yearning for. Mr. Speaker, a lot of people are complaining, a lot of people couldn't even eat on that day. A lot of people, people from all over the country, all over the world, people supporting Black Stars. Mr. Speaker, we don't even feel the atmosphere, the zeal that Black Stars is even playing in Cameroon. Because before they even left, people didn't even have hope that we will get anywhere. And unfortunately, they proved all of us right. We did not see the flags hoisting around. We did not see the miniature flags. We did not see anything like Ghana is even playing. I want to appeal to the FA and the Ministry of Youth and Sports that all is not lost. We cannot cry over spilled milk now. We have to put the bits and pieces together. We have to make things work. Now Ghana is paired against Nigeria, and the 1,001 commentators have started talking that Nigeria, as for Nigeria, will beat Nigeria to qualify for the World Cup. We also how Nigeria played at the AFCON. We also how they played their last match. The zeal, the commitment with which they played. If indeed Ghana is going to play Nigeria to qualify for the World Cup, then we have a lot of work to do. I don't know whether the call to dissolve the team is in the right direction, or whether we should invite other skillful players to join the team, or we should even invite them now and count them, for a longer period, so that the coordination, the communication will work on the pitch. There are so many things that need to be done before the Ghana-Nigeria match, but I haven't heard much, I haven't seen much. I don't know exactly what is going on, how the FA, the Ministry of Youth and Sports are preparing for this particular match. But looking at what had happened in Cameroon, it means we have a lot of work to do if we indeed want to qualify for the World Cup. But like I said earlier on, all is not lost. We need to put ourselves together, do the right thing. The selection of players, we have also heard in the grapevine that a lot of the FA members have their own teams. And most of the time they want to project their players. But the local players in this country are also yearning to also be called. They are yearning to go professional. So why don't you also use most of our local players who are equally good, so that they will play their hearts out, than always inviting the professionals who would always want to take care of themselves so that they don't hurt themselves. We should have a blend of the two. I believe Comoros, most of their players are not professionals. Egypt, most of them, they play locally. If you build our local players, it will go a long way to help us as a country and as a team. So as we're looking as to exactly what to do, I want to appeal to the FA, to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, to also consider the call to include skillful local players and train them in the team. I believe that when we call on them, they will play their hearts out for this country. I also want to talk about keepers.
Honorable Minister, I actually have given you more than enough.
Mr. Speaker, thank you.
I did indicate that I had to leave to perform some other function. But who am I to deny an honorable lady the opportunity to contribute? That is why I allowed you. You seem to have taken advantage of my benevolence.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I realize you are enjoying my presentation.
I was actually enjoying it, particularly coming from a lady. And your knowledge of the subject area is really very deep. So I was enjoying it.
Thank you, Mr.
But
Speaker.
if you can just conclude.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In winding up, I also want to talk briefly about goalkeeping. We really missed the Richard Kingstons, the Fatau Dauda, and all those guys. And I've been told that the keeper is placed in the third team or something in the wherever he's coming from. He's not a first-class goalkeeper. If you're going to play Nigeria, we should also look at our goalkeeping. And if Mr. Speaker will permit me, the technical team should also prepare the team well in terms of their corner kicks, their free kicks, their indirect kicks and all that. It looks like we lose out all the time when it comes to such cases. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable, I also thank you for accepting to wind up. I want to, before I depart, I assure you that the First Deputy Speaker will give the appropriate directives where we want our committee to be part of the process of finding solutions to this serious challenge. So you continue with your comments, but I have to perform one more important function. You all know that by Article 187, Clause 15 of the 1992 Constitution, which says that the accounts of the Office of the Auditor General shall be audited and reported upon by an auditor appointed by Parliament. We haven't done that for a time now, and therefore we have some areas, and we think it is an urgent matter that we have to do to appoint an auditor to audit the accounts of the Office of the Auditor General. And so I'll allow the majority leader and leader of the House. He's doing that in the capacity of the majority leader and leader of the House, not Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. The other people addendum will be shared to members. And you see we have 2 items on that. He will be moving the motion, and then we will then inform members of a committee that we are going to establish as Parliament to set the process in motion towards processing and appointing the auditor to audit the accounts of the Office of the Auditor General. And so I want to call on the majority leader to move the motion numbered 1 on the order paper addendum of today. Majority Leader.
Speaker, before I move the motion listed as item number 1 on the order paper addendum, just to correct the construction. Line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Line 6 should read, to recommend for appointment by Parliament. And then 6, an auditor to audit and report on the accounts of the Office of the Auditor General. The Speaker, that will reflect the language of Article 187(15). So, if you agree, then I'll move the motion. That notwithstanding, that is the procedural motion, that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 81, which require that no motion shall be debated until at least 48 hours have elapsed between the date on which the notice of the motion is given and the date on which the motion is moved. The motion that is housed constitutes an ad hoc committee composed of honourable members to recommend for appointment by Parliament an auditor to audit and report on the accounts of the Office of the Auditor General may be moved today. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honourable members, before we proceed, I want to, under outstanding orders, direct that we conduct business beyond the approved period for the sitting of the House. I will also want to inform the House that we will vary the business of the day according to what just happened, and to draw members' attention to note the amendment that has been made by the mover of the motion, that is the majority leader, for you to insert at line 6 of motion number 1 after to recommend, you add for appointment by Parliament. So you delete 2, by Parliament. And then in line 7, after audit, you add and report on the accounts of the Office of the Auditor General may be moved today. So it reads that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 81, which require that no motion shall be debated until at least 48 hours have elapsed between the date on which notice of the motion is given and the date on which the motion is moved, the motion that this Honorable House constitutes an ad hoc committee composed of honorable members to recommend for appointment by Parliament an auditor to audit and report on the accounts of the Office of the Auditor General may be moved today. Yes, it is seconded.
Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Motion moved and seconded is for the consideration of the House. Since this is a procedural motion, I put the question. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Now we move to item 2. Yes, Majority Leader of Government Business.
Speaker, I move to the motion listed as item number 2, and I beg to move that this Honorable House constitutes an ad hoc committee composed of the following honorable members to recommend for appointment by Parliament an auditor to audit and report on the accounts of the Office of the Auditor General. Speaker, the following 4 members have been slated: the Honorable James Kluche Abeji, the Honorable Dr. Festus Ewuakofi, the Honorable Dr. Stephen Amoah, the Honorable Samson Tangombu Chiragia. Speaker, it is recommended that the Honorable James Kluche Abeji is made the chairman of the committee. The Speaker, this is so because, 1, this is an ad hoc committee, and 2nd, that the Honorable James Kluche Abeji is the most senior member and also a member of the leadership who is part of this committee. And it's for that reason that, unlike what obtains in practice, making the majority caucus members the chairperson of any such committee, that agreeably it should be chaired by the Honorable James Kluche Abeji, the Deputy Minority Leader, a long-standing member of the House, and also a member of the leadership, the only member of leadership on this ad hoc committee. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I beg to second the motion and to state strongly, as the leader have indicated, that this was arrived at after a careful consideration and consultation with leadership to allow Parliament, as advised by you, to exercise our mandate under Article 1A715 to get this committee constituted for purposes of auditing the Auditor General. So it will be like a police policing the police. With this, Mr. Speaker, it will be chaired by no person than the Honorable Chair of the Public Accounts Committee, long-standing Deputy Leader. I therefore urge members to support the composition of this committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Motion moved and seconded is for the consideration of the House. There being no Yes, Honorable Dafiamako.
Mr. Speaker, safe to say that I know that by convention in this House, when we form committees, they are normally formed by odd numbers, 3, 5, 7. But I have observed that this one consists of 4 members. I will seek your guidance in the matter. In terms of the
Honorable Member, the matter is too obvious for response, so I will not encourage anybody to respond to that your issue. I will, at this stage, hand over to the First Deputy Speaker to continue with the item on the order paper addendum. Then after that, it goes back to the statement on the performance of the Black Stars, and then there's another statement left for him to take. With this, I thank you for your cooperation.
Yes. Honorable Majority, have we taken the motion on the order paper addendum yet?
The Speaker was to put a question on the motion moved by the Majority Leader for the composition of the committee in order paper addendum for the committee to audit the Auditor General. Question on motion, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. That's where we were.
Very well. Has the order 80 been taken? The order 81, has it been taken? The procedural motion. We have done that. Very well. Then we go to motion number 2. Very well. So all in favor of the motion, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. This House has adopted the motion to empanel the number of 4, as stated on the order paper addendum, to take the steps to select an auditor to audit the Auditor Generals. Yes, what next, Leader?
Speaker, we are on the Black Stars, so I was waiting for an opportunity to just make some concluding remarks. But there was some interest in it, so
if I may be guided by the leaders, how many more will you?
Okay, Mr. Speaker, so we are in your hands on that. I'll wait when my colleagues have their bite. I just have some small contribution to it.
Should I take 3 more from either side? 3. Is that acceptable majority? Very well. Yes, Honorable Member for Wa Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me first of all thank the maker of the statement, the ranking member for Youth and Sports, and to say that this year's AFCON has been a heartbreak for many, many Ghanaians. We all thought Ghana was going to make some distinctive mark in this AFCON after a long dry up of victory and gold in AFCON. As we all know, football is the pulse of the nation. After many sports, the many sports activities have disappointed us. People have relied on football, and Ghana performed so well. And according to the maker of the statement, we won this AFCON or Africa Cup 4 different times. And so Ghana's name is marked in one of the countries that have done very well in football. And for us to go into this year's AFCON and perform the way we perform is a very deep heartbreak. many Ghanaians are unable to forgive the players, the technical team, and others. But Mr. Speaker, in order for any team to win or to have the confidence to go far, there are 4 or 5 support bases you will require. First of all, you need to have a good management team that can support with managing the overall impact of the game. You need to have a technical team that can take the team through the technicalities and ensure that we have a good playing body. And you need to have a domestic support base. And lastly, you need to have a good playing body. Mr. Speaker, we didn't have all the 4. We didn't have a good management, it was poor. We didn't have a good technical team. The results are shown in the performance. We have poor domestic support, because I heard lots of people saying they are fed up with the poor performance of the Black Stars and they are not going to support the Black Stars anymore. Many people are preferred to support teams like Chelsea, Manchester, rather than the Black Stars. Mr. Speaker, we all know that because of football, people of varied thinking, varied ideas, opposing each other, can come together as one in Ghana. And at a situation like this, when the country is completely divided, we needed to have something like this football to bring us together, for people to be happy together. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And the pain was that we didn't even seem to be going, we didn't seem to play as if we were going to win. I, as a former sports minister, have always been very anxious when Ghana is playing. And so on this occasion, in the first match, I decided not to watch, because the pain and the emotions are often so high that when you watch and you see yourself defeated, you can't sleep over it. Mr. Speaker, so I avoided it. In the second match, somehow I gathered some courage to look at the match. It was fairly good. In the third one, I had firm hopes that we were going to win, because Comoros has not been a football nation. And I told myself, look, let's win this one, let's go to the next quarter, the 16th. And then, Mr. Speaker, to my surprise, they won they beat us, they scored the first goal. And it broke down every confidence in me. I closed the television, I went to rest, and then I was asking for the results the following day. And it was bad news for Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I think that we need to do much more than talking about this, about the Black Stars. We need to organize and organize properly. I was very happy when Honorable B.T. Baba suggested that we have changed management. We have changed the coach. We have done a lot of changes, but we have not changed consistently management because of poor performance. And he's calling on the constituents of the Black Stars Management Board to be able to change the management of the Black Stars, because you can't continually change the coach without thinking about the person who allows the management, who appoints the management and supervises them. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that we need to do something solid about this, because of the role of football in the heart of the Ghanaian, because of the role of football in selling out Ghana as a nation that can be that can be seen as a football nation. So this one must not just be talking alone, because as we go ahead, we are going to face another AFCON. When I took the team to Egypt, the under-20 team, first prepared by Honorable Muntaka, I joined him. I went to Qatar with the team, and we came out to contest the world scene in Egypt. Mr. Speaker, there was dire commitment in the team. Young people who wanted to die for Ghana, they demonstrated it. Skill, abilities, and commitment to win. And then we won the World Cup. it is because of what the players saw ahead of them. It wasn't because they played in Qatar, as Honorable Baba mentioned. It wasn't because there was extra funding for them. It was because of commitment, the dire commitment to die for Ghana. I didn't see it in the last team. So, Mr. Speaker, I think also that it is not just the skill we should be looking out for. We should be looking out for people who understand Ghana, who knows Ghana, who know Ghana, and who will go every length to see the nation rise in this, enterprise. So I want to call on the management, the Ministry of Sports, to set up a committee to examine what has happened, to make sure that the results of what has happened will inform a future Black Stars. The playing body is critical. Working on the minds of Ghanaians is important. To have Ghanaians saying they don't care about the team, whether it won or not, was a bad omen. So we need to work on all that. We need to recreate the confidence in the Black Stars, and we need to make sure that we have a good management team that will manage the Black Stars to victory. But lastly, Mr. Speaker, I support every single time the fact that we should have a Ghanaian to manage our teams. This idea of going to take people and bring them who don't understand Ghana, who would not even be able to speak to the people directly, is a bad thing. And I will encourage the management now or in future to groom Ghanaians who can understand Ghanaians, who will take us through. When we are solid enough, we can then be thinking about bringing people from outside. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, Honorable Kwadaso.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to add my voice to the issue under consideration. The elimination of the Black Stars at the group stage of the AFCON. Honorable Speaker, one factor that is not being discussed this afternoon that I want to bring our minds to is the belief in juju among some of the players. Mr. Speaker, I believe that the over-reliance of religious variables within our society is something that is wreaking havoc in terms of our progress and development. I've read reports that most of the players put their faith in juju at the expense of hard work and discipline. And I believe that the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the GFA must find a way of getting a very competent psychologist inserting the minds of the players. Mr. Speaker, nothing works better and is more effective than hard work. That variable is critical in defining the success of our teams. When players begin to have the fear that somebody might be bewitching them or using spiritism against them, Mr. Speaker, it affects their morale and their determination to give their best. And this issue has to be addressed. And if it is done, I can promise you that we will begin to see success in our national team. Again, what we need is a team and not just the collection of players or the assembly of players. A team is critical. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask this question. How long has this current team been together? You don't put together a team today and expect huge success tomorrow. The team must be together for a considerable length of time. There must be consistency in terms of how they train and play. And I think that this was lacking. There are some who are saying that the current team might be dissolved. I think I don't agree to that. My position is that we can keep most of the players, bring in new players, especially strikers. And if we do this and allow the players to know each other, play some more friendly games, I am optimistic that we are going to have a cohesive team, a stronger team that will bring us the results that we need, Mr. Speaker. I also want to commend the government for the support that she offered the team and to the Ghanaians who supported the Black Stars. There are some Ghanaians who are apathetic now, they are indifferent because of the poor performances of the Black Star. And I think that this apathy is as a result of the lack of results that we are not getting. In 2006, we were eliminated during the group stage, but still we went to the World Cup in Germany and then performed wonders. I think that all is not lost. This opportunity for us to do introspection, the opportunity for us not to be emotive, but look into the real causes of our defeat. And if we're able to reorganize and do things differently, we can still qualify to the World Cup. You know, there is a fear because we are going to play Nigeria. But Nigeria was also eliminated. When it comes to football matches between Ghana and Nigeria, it's like a coin house. From guy doesn't matter. It is who is hungry and determined to win. And if we are able to put our hearts together, Ghana will see the back of Nigeria and we will qualify. The Speaker, on that note, I want to encourage all of us that we should not give up on the Black Stars. We should not give up. I believe that if we are focused, we can make progress. And in this day and age, there are no minnows when it comes to football. We have to understand this. Every country is capable of causing havoc when it comes to football. Look at Comoros. Look at Quebec. We didn't give them any dog chance. And we had a perception that they'll be walkovers. That mindset also might have caused us. But as I said earlier on in conclusion, let us keep hope alive. Let us be behind the Black Stars. The GFA and the Ministry of Youth and Sports must sit down and do things differently, and we shall get there. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Dana.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.
Honorable Dekla, I gave you the floor, but his mic was on.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the statement ably made by Honorable Wayome. And I wish to disclose that last year, I joined the team of MPs who are football administrators. I was the first female to administer a football club. Mr. Speaker, I did this to harness the potential of the teeming youth in my constituency as are littered all over the country. I had a conversation with my sports coordinator, and he told me the benefit of football or sports in general, that it brings unity, it brings discipline, it lets the children be focused. So this is how I entered into football, having taken inspiration from former players like Dankwe, the Painters, Audu Isaka, Gordon Atram, Isaac Fossa, and many more in the past. As a nation, anytime football is being played, we all come together. We unite behind the Black Stars. And when they don't win, you can see the whole country goes very, very quiet. Everybody is very sad when the Stars don't win. Mr. Speaker, people earlier have spoken about the various reasons why they probably didn't win. I just want to add my voice that as a nation, we should be interested in developing sports for the unity of the country, for giving the youth a focus, and then creating discipline among the teeming youth who are coming up. Mr. Speaker, last year, I remember I made a
comment, I contributed to a question here on the sports minister having not answered a question, a letter written by my chiefs asking for permission to contribute to the expansion of the sports stadium in Kwando. It's 6 months now. We still haven't had a reply to this letter. Mr. Speaker, these are some of the things that discourages people from helping to develop sports in their own small ways in their constituencies. This is a constituency wanting to do some development by themselves, asking the permission of the sports minister. 6 months later, we still haven't had a reply to that letter. Mr. Speaker, I wish to also state that, like the earlier speaker said, the technical bench has to be looked at, player selection has to be looked at. We are grooming a lot of domestic players, and I believe that from these domestic players, players can be selected to play for the national team in the future. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I thank you for the opportunity.
Honorable Effiamapo first.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to add my voice to the statement made by the ranking member on sports. Mr. Speaker, the bedrock of our football development in this country has been coast football. Today, our coast football is dead. Mr. Speaker, when we were in secondary school, we used to participate in what we called Milo Games. And Milo Games was such a fantastic tournament that unnerved talent, even for the under-17 national team, for the under-20, for the under-23, and eventually the Black Stars. Milo Games is no longer organized. Mr. Speaker, I recall that in secondary school we used to have inter-houses, and then you do inter-schools, then there will be zonals. Then when you are good enough, you form part of what we call the super zonals team. Then eventually you constitute what they call the regional teams. Then you go for what was called inter-regionals. From the inter-regionals, national teams are constituted. That was how talents were unearthed from every corner from this country. We no longer pay attention to sports programs from our secondary schools. Mr. Speaker, I recall that when players are selected for the Black Stars, they normally would have called about 50 or more players to Winnipeg Sports College. Then they play what they call the Justify. So out of about 60 or more players, eventually a 25-man team will be constituted after you had participated in the Justify. We don't do those things any longer. Then we call players who are born in Europe who don't even speak the local language, and we call them to come and play for the Black Stars. Their sense of patriotism and nationalism, attachment to our national team is almost nil. We are calling players to come and play in a hot tropical weather when they are playing in the winter. Mr. Speaker, soccer has now become scientific. Players are now managed by companies whose aim is to make profit. So they condition the players in such a way that they get selected, they build their CVs just for offloading them to lucrative European clubs. Time was when you saw Blaster selection, you saw players from Kotoko, you saw players from Hearts, and a few from maybe Oko United, Kumasi Cornerstone, and Great Olympics, and that will be it. But now you don't even see players who are playing our local league who are hardy, who are properly acclimatized to form part of our national team. And so, Mr. Speaker, For me, I think that we should go back to the basics. We should go back and reorganize our coast football system, reorganize our inter-schools football properly, reintroduce Milo games. Mr. Speaker, it's ironical that as a country, even though we are building more astro
confronted with a witch's dance. If he dances forward, the father will die. He dances backwards, the mother dies. So he has to be dancing in the middle. Does he have a mandate and authority to dismiss a coach? Does the Minister for Youth and Sports have the authority and mandate to dismiss the Minister for Youth and Sports? It's the FA, not him. But he reflects our disappointment, he, the Minister, because he's in Parliament. How I wish Parliament could just pass a resolution and say that go home. But we cannot, because we must follow the specific rules and regulations governing football. We are not happy about his performance, but we have a major transition between now and when we face Nigeria in the World Cup qualifiers. And Mr. Speaker, it is also true that probably, I just give you two examples. There are, if you take Comoros, the country which managed to disgrace us, 3-2. Mr. Speaker, they don't have footballers even in Europe. But in Ghana, a minister, we have to think deep. The relationship between the ministry and the GFA in the name of autonomy. There are many qualified Ghanaian footballers like Wan Salisu of Southampton, Tariq Lamptey of Brighton, Hassan Odoi of Chelsea, Afenye Jan of Roma. Brilliant Ghanaian footballers recognized at the world level, yet none of them was recognized by your coach, recognized by your technical bench. What kind of scouting did we do in Europe in preparing the team? When you are concluding, then you share your view. I know the citizen thing, but at the point he said that if that country didn't favor him, he will opt for us. That is also on the title. But Mr. Speaker, I'm just saying that in Europe, you have all these players who are recognized, including much more talent. Then, Mr. Speaker, when did they assemble? You say, when you say Black Stars as a team, they didn't gel as a team because they didn't play together as a team. That was part of our problem. How can you make a substitution at 90 minutes? Then ask the player to warm in and walk out. We saw him do that. Then even when you suffer, Mr. Speaker, the disgrace of Congo was largely because of the early conceding that goal in the 5th minute. I'm sure that's even got Ayew exiting with a red card because he had come determined that I will survive today. In any case, even if we won, we're not going to qualify. So, Mr. Speaker, my first advice would be that let's show sportsmanship. Let's show sportsmanship. You see, football, you win happiness, you lose happiness. That's what sportsmanship means. So, we have to forgive the Black Stars and move forward. We must forgive the Black Stars and move forward. You see, Mr. Speaker, and to my senior, the Honorable Katie Hammer, when your milk pours down, can you take all of it back? You don't cry over spilled milk. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we must endeavor to find a heart of forgiveness for the Black Stars, for its management, and manage the transition. But task the minister and the FA to work to transition the coach, work to transition him. Because between now, you don't want us to blame you if Nigeria beats us or defeats us and say that their jollof was already better than ours. They have added football to it. That will be another trouble for you. But we necessarily must qualify. And Mr. Speaker, one of our colleagues, when he was making his point, questioned why the Black Stars were in Qatar. It was for good reason. He was using it sometimes because of our economic standing, so that he prepares them, anticipating that we will qualify for Doha. Then they would have gotten acclimatized to the weather. But there are those who are very critical of the coach that, why did you choose Doha or Qatar? This was the reason. His anticipation is that, no, but at least get used to the atmosphere within the constraints of the resources. But how much are we ready? How much are we ready to pay for a Black Stars coach? I know that there were efforts to get Herve Renard, if you remember, the one who led Ivory Coast and Zambia into winning those cups. Nothing was heard of it, and that was it. So probably we should have a mix of the coaches. Yes, make use of our local talents. Where it is necessary to use a foreigner, I don't think that we should rule it out completely. But at least we should make the best use of it. Then, Mr. Speaker, in concluding, football generally, we are not branding ours well. I have repeatedly said it. Today, the English Premier League appears to be about the most competitive football regime in the world, even though you have La Liga and others wanting to compete, because they have branded it. There are more Chelsea supporters in this house than there are Okuma Apimbeba supporters of Kotoko here. For BIA, Mr. Speaker, there are more. I'm sure some will quarrel with me if Man U was defeated, than when they hear my own way, RTU are defeated. And Mr. Speaker, there are those of us who just love football, not the trophies. And Katie doesn't belong to that category because of a wounded goalkeeper yesterday that he was. So in football, you don't go in expecting that at every time you must win. Let us recover very fast, and build the Black Stars as a team. Explore the opportunities of those new other talents elsewhere that can be built to get it done. But our task is that the Minister for Youth and Sports, it appears that the Ghanaian people have passed their judgment over the coach. But manage it as a transition, because you have a match ahead of you. But as for reorganizing our football, you have a cumbersome duty. Football in Ghana is virtually dead. Now, even if you go for a Kotoko House of Folk match, enthusiasm, Mr. Speaker, very, very low. Then the local talents, what the Honorable KT observed, there are many talents that are ignored for reasons that we cannot understand, and for reasons that we must demand explanation. Because we also watch them on TV, and we can know that this is a bright player or a good player. Yet when you are calling, they are not called. So the Ghanaian people will ask you that, how come this particular player is not featuring at the level of the Black Stars? Mr. Speaker, I see that we have spent considerable time on this particular statement. I should be concluding so that we will hear from those who will respond to the issue. So, GFA, Mr. Speaker, they are saying that, and that's a conflict. I think that the ministry didn't manage the announcement well. In the news already is that Coach Milivac sacked. When you ask sacked by who, they say the ministry or minister. Now, the GFA has a meeting tomorrow, I'm told, to deliberate on this particular matter. So it means the coordination is not well. Even if that was your wish, you should have routed it through properly, quietly, and diplomatically to manage it. Now, the turf war have always existed between ministers and the Ghana Football Association, because they think that they have even more resources than the minister. Because when you are struggling to travel, they are able to depend upon their resources. So, Mr. Speaker, our challenge is the Ghanaian people expect the Black Stars to qualify for the World Cup in Qatar this year. That we ask and demand of you. That make sure that the Black Stars qualify for Qatar and perform better than they have done in Cameroon. Mr. Speaker, with this, let me once again commend the maker of the statement, at least for giving us an opportunity to be able to discuss this important matter so dear to the hearts of many Ghanaians. I thank you.
Very well. Honorable Majority Leader, before you take your turn, can I please introduce the delegation of CPA members? Honorable members, as you are aware, the Parliament of Ghana is hosting the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association CPA Africa Regional Workshop on Trade, Security and Gender. Today I have the pleasure of acknowledging the presence in the public gallery of this chamber, delegates from various sister countries attending the workshop. There are honorable members of Parliament from the United Kingdom, Nigeria, Seychelles, Cameroon, Mozambique, Malawi, Zambia, Kenya, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia. They are accompanied by some staff of the CPA UK branch. Honourable members, on behalf of this august house, I once again welcome them to our country. May I request that the delegation be on their feet so members will acknowledge them. Once again, you're welcome to Ghana. Now, Honourable Majority, that you may conclude before the Minister responds.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity, and to also express my profound appreciation to the Honourable Member of Parliament for South Tongue, the Honourable Kobna Woyome, for bringing this statement to the House, in order for us all to appreciate the enormity of the situation before us. The Speaker, the last time that the Black Stars won the African Cup, the tournament was in 1982 in Libya. Mr. Speaker, that is some 40 years ago. We kept living on our past glories. When we first won in 1963, 1965, Egypt had not won any. Today, Egypt is on the ascendancy and they've won so many of the tournaments. Speaker, the last time they climbed up and moved to 5 wins, it was Ghana that they beat. Mr. Speaker, as I said, we're living on our past glories. And it's important that we revamped our efforts. Mr. Speaker, colleagues have spoken about the commitment of players, the competence of the coach or the orientation of the coach, so the players not obeying camp rules, the change in technical team, and so on. Mr. Speaker, we must interrogate the team that we have. Any team worth its salt really is dependent on 3 or 4 players. You need a very competent arrowhead, the goal scorer. Then you have a very good holding midfielders. You have one that you can count on as a person who marshals the defense, steely defense, and then a very good goalkeeper. In all these departments, Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, Ghana scores 0. So where is the team? The minister raised high hopes when he indicated to us that it was possible, it was going to be possible for us to win. But did we, before we set out from here, have a team? I'm not sure that we have a team in the current crop of players that we have. Mr. Speaker, so technically, the players are not up there. Forget about the accolades that our sports journalists are heaping on them. Technically, they are not there. And even for those of them who are outside, what's the quality of the teams that they are playing for? Many of them are warming the benches of second-round and third-round teams. And yet, we are heaping all manner of accolades on them, thereby gingering support here in Ghana. And yet we know, if we come to interrogate the competence of the players, each of them, that most of them are not up there. So we may have maybe one or two world-class players in the team. But is that enough to win tournaments? I watched just 2 of the games that they played. I would say to myself that the one that we lost against Comoros perhaps was our best match, even though we played short of one person, of one player. The Speaker, so if a team is not technically sound, then we want to have good tactical play. And that then will call in question the competence or the pedigree of the coach. Mr. Speaker, the coach that we had, the question to ask is whether, as of now, he measures up there. Mr. Speaker, we've spoken about our own football development, graduating it from codes through schools and colleges, universities, the local leagues, and indeed the training facilities. Mr. Speaker, I would say to us that if we want to measure the quality of players that we have today, and we went back 20 years, most of the players that we have in the Black Stars today will not even qualify to play in the reserve teams of Accra House of Oak or Kotoko or RTU in those days. And for such, you need to bring the players together to train for a longer time than the 1 week or so that maybe we had for the team. The Speaker, the efforts will not amount to much if we did that. In 1965, when we won the second time, the tournament, and we realized that we had dropped, and we needed to win in 1978, it was agreed by the then FA that we should play just one round of the league. And then we took the opportunity to assemble the team. At the time, those of them that we thought were very established stars, the Janopoms and Odames of that era, were dropped. And that was how come we brought in the younger generation, took them to Brazil. For about, they camped them there for about 2.5 months. They came to play the local league, the local clubs. I remember the second match that they played against Defense Stars. It was difficult for them to win. Then we realized that, yes, we were trying to shape them up. They were not up there. They went back. When they came back, they played the same Defense Stars and humiliated them. And realized that we had been able to get the team to some level. So into the 1978 tournament, which was played in Ghana, we were very hopeful. And indeed, all the teams that we met were able to overcome them. In 1992, when, again, for a long time, we were not making much progress. After the humiliation, won the trophy in Libya in 1982. Between and 1982, it was difficult for us. We were not even qualified. Then we introduced Bukar Saizi. We must look at the coaches that we also engage. Bukar, when he came, was a very hungry coach. We left the entire team to his charge and was able, within a very short time, to bring them up. That is how we should be scouting if you are going for foreign coaches. Those are the type of coaches, the hungry ones, who want to add to their CV, that you should be bringing. Not established ones. The established ones, when you bring them, they will not be able to deliver and they will tell you that, well, we had very little time. Mr. Speaker, the same thing goes when Nigeria, for instance, went to the World Cup and did very well. That was when they introduced Clemens Westerhoff, a very hungry coach. They brought him, the first match that he played, in fact, he went with them to Algeria. The first match they played, they were humiliated by Algeria. But Nigeria managed to play in the finals against the same Algeria. Algeria at the time, Shrodin, Rapa Majer, and the others. It was difficult for Algeria to beat Nigeria in the final game. They managed only a 1-0 against Nigeria. Then the people of Nigeria got to know that, yes, this man within a very short time was mastering the gameplay of Nigeria. He took them to the World Cup. They did well. When Cameroon went to the World Cup with Roger Miller, and did well, I will recollect that they came to Ghana. At the time, we didn't have a blaster. And they played against our under 17. At that time, Frode Shabokwe, Abraham Kuma, Joe Debra, Zion Train, and the others. They played them in Kumasi. They struggled to draw with our under 17 team. That was when they went to the World Cup. Roger Miller said, when people were praising Cameroon for what they had done, he said the world should watch out for Ghana. The speaker, go for hungry coaches. Cameroon at the time went for an unsung coach, Nepomianchi, who took them to the World Cup. When they finished, the Soviet Union at the time poached him because of the gameplay that is placed there. Mr. Speaker, so it is what quality of coach that we want. If you're not going for the hungry ones, and my first preference is for local coaches, Mr. Speaker, you can put maybe some of them together, 2 or 3, the established ones, and you can even give it to the Coaches Association, that they should give us 2 or 3 of their best, put them together to coach the national team, and we see the results. Mr. Speaker, I think there's also a question that we have to ask ourselves. Since the FA, the Football Association, came to be taken over by the clubs, what has been the results? Is that the way to go? Before they came in, we had our own structure of technical people managing the Football Association for us. The football clubs have insisted that they dominate. Ever since they took control, what has been the results in tournaments? And that is when people even question the selection of national teams. Because each of them will want to have their own players from their clubs in the national team. What has been the results to us? Mr. Speaker, so there are so many questions that we should be asking about what went wrong. And indeed, as I've said, I agree that yes, today we don't have the big corporate bodies to be assisting in grooming players. The era of Samatex, the era of New Plan Stars, Akoshobo testers that produce Akotex, even from Akujeto's place, Drontex, Japan testers, they are gone. Dumas of GTP used to be one of the clubs. Georg Stars, Stiaman Stars, Ash Gold, and even from the armed forces, Defense Stars, later christened SS-74. Where are they? The Speaker, so we should look at how we are developing our football. We need really to have long-term strategic plans to invigorate our football. The Speaker, for now, I agree with the minority leader that we don't have the luxury of time. If we have to compete in the World Cup qualifiers, we need immediately to determine the way forward for us. If we have to sack the coach, let it be sweat to introduce new coaches who then will have at least 5 weeks or so to get the team together. If, on the other hand, we want to leave him, then scurrilous attacks should also cease. because that will also demoralize the man. My own preference, though, is that the two Ghanaian coaches who are outside, Tanko is the deputy coach to Dortmund, and his pedigree is high. Ibrahim Tanko, Mr. Speaker. So if we have to give the Blasters to him, I believe he's one person who can deliver for us. But let's handle the matter gingerly. And I think I understand the FA's meeting tomorrow. If they have to get rid of Milo because maybe he's wounded and his crest is falling, let's do what is needful. Bring in the other another coach. I'm saying that my own preference is to bring down Tanko. The Speaker, having said that, we should come together not to stop supporting the Blasters. We have bemoaned the fate of the Blasters, and I guess so many of our compatriots are not in the mood to even continue watching the tournament. That is, there's injury that has been inflicted on all of us football lovers in the country. That means that we should revamp the Stars. If we have to invite some new people into the team, so be it. So, Mr. Speaker, the earlier we acted with some degree of alacrity to save the fortunes of the Blasters, the better for us. Let me also urge those of them who contributed to the journey to Cameroon not to relent, because we need to continue our support for the team if indeed we want to maintain them, or if we want to call out to our participation in World Cup or perhaps tournaments, then we must make that bold decision.